Hi, everybody. Thank you for attending our webinar today. It looks like we have a great crowd. This is an international webinar. I'm in Boston. My name is Darren Henry, and we have Serhat Can in Turkey. And today we're talking about our best practices when using incident management on Slack with Opsgenie. So we'll talk about how to optimize your experience using Slack and ChatOps while working in incident management with Opsgenie. A few housekeeping, and then I'll turn it over to Serhat. The first thing I'd like to talk about is that we are taking questions in this webinar. In the GoToWebinar interface, there's actually an area where you can type in your questions. Please do that. I'll be monitoring those questions. Any good question we'll read on the air, and I'll be trying to answer as we go as well. So we encourage you to type any question that you have right within the interface. And with that, I'll turn it over to Serhat. Serhat's got an interesting background at both Opsgenie and working with Slack. So maybe you can introduce yourself, Serhat, and I'll let you take it from here.
Sure. Thank you, Darren. Thank you for joining me today. So I will start introducing myself. My name is Serhat. I work as a technical evangelist at Opsgenie. Previously, as a developer, I created our Slack application's first version. So I'm pretty confident that I know the ins and outs of our Slack application. And I will just start with a couple of slides, and then I will share today's agenda, and we will continue with the demo. So for those of you who are not familiar with Opsgenie, Opsgenie is an alerting and on-call management solution for DevOps and ITOps teams. And we allow you to define flexible schedules, escalations, and design actionable alerts to reduce mean time to acknowledge and resolve. And Opsgenie integrates with all of your popular chat tools like Flowdoc, Microsoft Teams, HipChat, soon to be Stride, of course, and Slack. So the idea of ChatOps is to bring operations where your people are. And in Opsgenie's case, we bring your alerts into chat and allow you to take actions within your channel to take advantage of this idea. And Slack has, this is a recent number, probably the number is increasing, but Slack has more than 6 million active users, and a lot of our users use it for day-to-day communication as well. And Opsgenie Slack application is a many times featured one in the Slack app directory. And it's a bidirectional one. It means that Opsgenie can send messages to Slack, and you can execute alert actions and update configurations from Slack. And there is more to it, of course, but I will talk about them during the demo. And I would like to also talk about a little bit about our playground. And this we had a webinar recently about our playground environment, about what it is. You can watch it as well. And basically, it's an environment for you to try different tools, including monitoring tools like Dynatrace, Nagios, Datadog, or ticketing tools like Zendesk, Jira, and of course, chat tools like HipChat and Slack. You can use our playground environment to quickly see and experiment how Opsgenie's Slack application works after this webinar, if you want. Another one is that I wrote a technical brief focusing on the important considerations when using ChatOps for incident management. And you can download it for free from this link. We will share the presentation after the webinar. And one last thing. So we have a Slack landing page, and you can just type opsgenie.com/Slack and gain access to important links about our Slack application, including links to previous blog posts, white papers, and our documentation. Well, before I begin to show the application, I would like to share our agenda today. So we will start with the installation of Opsgenie Slack application, and we will do it as a global integration and a team integration. Don't worry, I will talk about them in detail. So then we will talk about how to filter alerts using the configuration options on the Slack integration. And then we will see how interactive buttons in our application works together with the slash comments. And an important feature of our Slack application, chat user mapping, we will talk about this in detail as well. And finally, I will share some tips for designing Slack messages. Now I will switch to first Slack's marketplace. If you want, you can type Opsgenie here, and go ahead and gain some fast insights about our application as well. And you can visit site to install or just go ahead and log into our application. And here I have created a new account, and you can do the same. It's free. And before the webinar, I only created 2 teams, nothing else, like no integrations installed yet. So the teams I installed are called Playground and SRE, Site Reliability Engineering team. And I have added 2 people in the schedule. I will not go into the details of these. So this is out of our topic, but you can learn about them in our documentation as well. So the teams are basically a group of people working on a similar services or projects. And now I will just go into straight to the action and install a Slack application. So to install the application, you click the integrations link on the sidebar. And if you want, you can check the chat here and select Slack, or just type Slack here. And then we are in the Slack integration page. Now you can read the comments here, but it's pretty straightforward. So for now, I will not select a team. I will install the Slack application as a global integration. So I will just go ahead and click Add to Slack here. And before I authorize the application, I also want to show you that I have set up a new Slack team or workspace here. So to install, first you have to choose a channel. I will choose operations channel for this purpose for now, because this is a global integration and I want my channel to be a generic one, and I've created operations channels just for this. And we require only 2 permissions. This is important because it clearly states that we only ask for adding permission for adding a comment. It's /genie command. We will talk about this later. And we also ask for your permission to send a message to your specified Slack channel. And so the important point here is that we are not allowed to read your message, so it's pretty secure. Now I will authorize the application and we will see what happens. Now the integration is installed and saved. So that's pretty much it. We can go ahead in Slack and see that the Opsgenie integration is added successfully. And now I will just change the name to something simple, Slack operations, and save the integration. Then just to make sure that it works, just to see if it works, we will create an alert and see it in action in Slack. Operations channel alert test 1. Then I can add some text if I want to. Operations test. Then I will hit the create button here. Now, as you can see, as soon as I hit the create button, Opsgenie send a message to Slack channel. So now, before I go deep into the buttons and all the other stuff, I would like to also add 2 team integrations. So the point of adding team integrations is that the alerts can get pretty crowded in a Slack channel, right? You might have a lot of alerts, and you basically cannot track all of them in one generic Slack channel, and you may have tens, even hundreds of teams. So you have to, in this case, it is better for you to create separate Slack channels for each team. So I'm selecting Playground team and click Add to Slack. Now I want to Playground team to receive their alerts in the Playground Ops channel, operations channel. Now I will authorize this as well. Now the integration is added as well. So I also want to update the name to make it easy to understand. So I will not touch any more details. I will talk about them one by one later. Now I want to do the same for the operations team as well. Now, I'm sorry, SRE team. Now I click at the select button. I will select the SRE operations channel. I will authorize. Okay, great. Now we are done with the installations. Now, so far, also I want to update the name here. Select SRE, save the integration. Now, when I see the all configured integrations, I see 3 Slack integrations, 1 generic integration that we installed in the operations channel, and 1 for the playground team, 1 for the SRE team. So now I want to talk about these options: alert action and alert filtering options. So these are pretty important because sometimes you don't want to see all of the actions, executed actions in the Slack channel, because they can make the channel pretty crowded. So to make it clean and see only what you want, you can uncheck some of the actions. So for example, if I uncheck the assign ownership action here, when assign an ownership to an alert in Opsgenie, we will not send a notification to your Slack channel. We will see it in action just in a minute. And I would like to also show this alert filter feature. This is also extremely useful. So I can select whatever alert part I want, and I can filter them using here. For example, let's say I don't want my low priority alerts to be in the Slack channel. Then I select tags, and for example, not contains low priority. Then if I save the integration, and then remember this is the playground, then I will create a new alert using our web UI. Now playground team test alert. Now the important point here is that if I don't select playground team, we will not send alert notification Slack message to the playground channel. So I'm not, for example, I'm not selecting SRE team. We should not see a message in the SRE channel. That's pretty important. And for now, I will not add any text. For the next alert, I will add the low priority tag, and we will see it in action. So I'm creating the alert. Now in the Slack, of course, we received the same alert in the operations channel because it's a generic integration. And even if we routed the alert to the playground team, we see it in the operations channel as well. But we did not receive the alert in the SRE operations team.
Serhat, I have a question for you. Can you answer a question? So the question is, can you add teams to a private Slack channel?
Yes, you can. It doesn't matter if you install it in a private or public channel. It works the same. I will continue now if you don't have any questions. Okay. So as you can see, in SRE operations team, we did not receive any alerts. And in the playground operations team, of course, we got the alert, right? That's great. Now, I will switch back to Opsgenie and add a recipient to the alert. Let's say there, Henry. Okay. Well, as you can see, I get the notifications related Slack message in my channel. But when I assign the alert to someone else, like there, Henry, and okay, as you can see, I did not receive any message about this action because I unchecked the assign action from the integrations configurations. So let me go back to the alerts page, and I will also create a new alert with the low priority just to make sure that it works the way we want. Playground test low priority alert. So I will again select the playground team. We can change the priority. Well, if we want, we can also add a description. playground test team description. Let's see. Tags. This is a low priority alert, so I'm adding the low priority tag. And I will hit the create button. So as you can see, we did not receive any Slack message in the playground operations team because let me open the integrations page again. And as you can see, we added this alert filter. We specified that tags which have low priority, alerts that have low priority as a tag should not be sent to the Slack channel. And we also unchecked assign ownership and confirmed that we did not see any message in the Slack channel. So as this is a generic channel, we got all the actions in here as well. So now let me switch back to the Slack and talk about the Slack buttons. So the Slack buttons are really the fastest way to execute commands, actions, execute alert actions in our Slack application. You can just click acknowledge here, and as you can see, we automatically updated the Slack message, original Slack message, and send a notification, send a new message about the action, and we can also unacknowledge or close the actions. So these actions are pretty common actions, so we made them available with one click. And let me close the alert here. As you can see, the buttons are invisible now because we closed the alert. And now, also, I would like to talk about other actions. So we have more than acknowledge and close. We have assign, take ownership, snooze, and note actions available in your Slack channel. So let's say I want to add a note to this alert. I don't need to switch back to Opsgenie or use Opsgenie's mobile application. If I'm in Slack, I can just go ahead on the other actions part and click add note. And a new Slack dialog is opened. And this is a pretty new feature in Slack. And let's say test note. And as you can see, we received the action message immediately here. And let's go back to the Opsgenie and confirm that we added the note to the alert. That was the number 9. As you can see, the note is added immediately. So now, also let me show you the snooze action. Snooze action is used to stop the notifications for a specific period of time. And I can say, like, because I'm working on the issue, I want to stop notifications for example, 10 minutes. I just select 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's automatically delayed. And you basically for all of these actions, you don't have to leave your Slack channel. You can just use couple of you can just click couple of buttons and you are done. So these are pretty common alert actions, and these are great for executing actions like acknowledge, close, or snooze. I will also talk about the assign and take ownership later. Now I want to talk about something useful, what we call in Slack is slash commands. So we have /genie command for you to use, we have every alert action available here, and not just alert actions. We also have configuration actions like enabling an integration or disabling a schedule, or acknowledging all your alerts within your Slack channel, or basically escalating an alert to someone else, or getting the list of open alerts, list of teams, or you can add a note using Slack dialogs, or you can use slash commands. You can mute or unmute someone or yourself, or you can see who is on call. Let's for example, someone in your team wants to reach out to the on-call person, and you are already using Slack, so you don't have to switch to Opsgenie. You can just say /Genie who is on call in any of the channel. You don't have to be in the operations channel. You can be in the Slack bot. You can send yourself a direct message, or you can be in the general channel, because /commands works installed in a general way in Slack. And as you can see, we have two schedules right now: operations schedule and playground schedule. And Darren Henry is on call for the operations schedule. Serhat is on call for the playground schedule. Also, let me list open alerts by using Genie command. And if you don't remember the exact command, you can always say Genie help and list, as you can see, list alerts available here. But the important part here is that for some actions, you are not allowed to execute. For example, let's say you want to enable or disable an integration, but right now we don't know, we cannot identify who is executing the action in Opsgenie. So let's try Genie enable the name of the integration. Let's go and check. For example, I want to disable Slack SRE integration. I will say disable. So until now, we did not match Opsgenie and Slack users. So when we execute something on Slack side, we don't know who is executing on the Opsgenie side. So that is why we could not execute this action. So to do that, we need to use something called chat user mapping, and it's pretty straightforward. Let me do it right now. You can use /Genie command for this purpose as well. As you can see, the command for this is /Genie connect. And when we say /Genie connect, so we get this message: Serhat, in order to use our Opsgenie account to execute commands, please authenticate in Opsgenie. We click the button and we approve the operation. So basically, we want to connect Opsgenie account Serhat Can. Serhat Can is the user in Opsgenie to the Slack team. Now, when I approve, I can try the same. It's done. I will show you on the Opsgenie side as well. /Genie disable Slack SRE. Well, as you can see, integration Slack SRE is disabled. So let's go back to the Opsgenie side and confirm that it worked. Well, here it is. So we need to enable it again. It's disabled. So I will enable it for now. And to in your profile, you can see that Slack chat account Slack is matched with an Opsgenie. You can also click the button here and undo the operation easily. You don't have to go ahead and talk to someone to do that. You can just do it with one click. So also, I have one last important /Genie command that I want to show you. So you can also create alerts within your Slack channel using /commands. So as you can see, /Genie alert is the command here. And let me say /Genie alert testing for testing creating alerts using /commands. I would like to create this alert for the, let's say, playground team. Well, as you can see, the alert is automatically created for the playground team. And we also, and you can also see the tiny ID of the alert, because you don't have to use the buttons here. You can also use Genie command to acknowledge alerts right within your channel /Genie egg and tiny ID 11. Well, I have acknowledged the alert within my Slack channel. So now let me go back to the integrations again, because I want to show you something important. Sometimes it's confusing, but it's pretty important. So I'm going into the first integration I installed, Slack Operations integration. And as you can see, there is an option here called execute commands. So the point of this is that, as I told you earlier, / commands can only be installed for a team only once. So to be able to use this require matching a user option, we need to associate / command with one of the integrations you have. So for example, when I go back, as you can see, this is checked in this integration. So the first Slack integration you installed will have this option selected by default. And when I go to this one, I will see that this is not checked. So when I try to check it and save the integration, I will get a warning. Only one Slack integration can be associated with a team to execute commands. Well, to be able to use this integration to determine to use as a configuration, for example, to use this configuration by looking at this option. So I want to uncheck the option here. So, but I don't have to right now. I also want to use this integration. So I also would like to talk about this require matching a user option. This is pretty important. Most of our users do not want to allow some random user in their Slack channel to execute commands. So if you check this option and save it, we don't allow any action. For example, because I have already authenticated my application, it will of course work, but I will undo it. So it's done. So when I try to, for example, close this alert, I will get a warning. Serhat, in order to use Opsgenie account to execute commands, please use the /Genie command. So this is basically because of this require matching a user option. Now we force all of your Slack users to match their users with Opsgenie, because we want to know who is executing which action. So this is pretty important to authorize to know who is executing which action in your alerts. And right now, I also would like to talk about now. So I skipped the assign and take ownership here. Now, to be able to use these actions, I need to match Opsgenie and Slack users. So I will again say /Genie connect here, and I will authenticate my user again. It's done. Now, let's say I want to assign this alert to someone else. Or in this case, for example, I have already authenticated myself. I will assign to myself. So you can select Slack users here. They have to be authenticated in Opsgenie. I'm selecting Serhat, and as you can see, Serhat Can, because I have authenticated in Opsgenie, I see my full name that I use in Opsgenie in the Slack channel. Serhat Can assigned the ownership of the alert 11. As you can see, the message is sent automatically. I am also receiving the alerts in the playground operations channel, because the alert belongs to the playground team. So I have now a couple of options that I would like you to know. These are pretty cool because they allow you to design your messages the way you want. So we have your select buttons option here. So it basically, sometimes you don't want to see the select buttons because you are not, maybe you don't need to take actions from Slack. You might have this use case, so you can just uncheck this one, and this is the operations team. So we can create an alert for playground team and compare them. So let's say we don't want to see the alert description in the Slack message because sometimes it is taking too much space and you don't want you want your channel to be clean. So I will uncheck this as well, and I will also uncheck the routed teams here. Now I will save the integration and create an alert for the playground team, and we will see the Slack messages in the operations channel and playground operations channel as well. So I new alert, and I will add some text. I will also add some description, playground team alert, and I will assign the alert to the playground team. Now, when I click create, and I switch to the Slack team, as you can see, our message does not have any buttons on it, or routed teams information or description is not visible because we unchecked the options. But when I go to playground operations team, as you can see, all information is available on the message. So, well, that's all I'm going to say, but I will also talk about some important points. So, as I shared with you guys in the beginning of my presentation, you should install separate applications for each team because you want your teams to have visibility only the alerts they are interested in. This is the best way to make sure that that's the case. And you should use require matching a user option for better authorization because you need to identify authorize and identify your users on the Opsgenie side. And you can filter your unnecessary Slack messages using the filtering options available. You can also uncheck some of the Opsgenie actions and choose not to send those messages on Slack. And you can design your messages, as I told you earlier, you can uncheck the Slack buttons option, or you may choose not to show, for example, text on the messages. And to take actions from Slack sites, the fastest way is to use Slack buttons. As I showed you, we have the acknowledge clause and acknowledge actions are available with one click, and assign, take ownership, and snooze actions are available in the interactive menus. And for anything else, like learning who is on call, enabling or disabling integrations, listing all your open alerts, or connecting your account in Opsgenie, or basically creating an alert from Slack, you can leverage /commands. So that's all from my side, Darren. If you have any questions for me, I will be glad to answer them.
Thanks, Serhat. We do have one question, and it's from somebody that's using HipChat versus Slack. And I know we have capabilities with both HipChat, Microsoft Teams, as well as Slack. Can you talk a little bit about the differences?
Sure. So in HipChat, we have buttons as well. You can also acknowledge, unacknowledge, or close the alerts from sidebar. So there are a couple of differences. In Slack, we don't have what we call sidebar in HipChat. So you cannot attach buttons on the messages on HipChat, but you can use sidebar to list the alert details and create buttons to take actions. So we have those in HipChat. And we have also the capability to list all your open alerts, all of your alerts or unacted alerts on the HipChat sidebar. That is something we don't have in Slack because they don't have the sidebar feature. You can also see what we call they have something called glance in HipChat side, and we show the open alert count just to give you a quick idea on the current status of your alerts. So, but in Slack side, we have, for example, at note action using dialogs. We don't have this in HipChat, and these are basically the differences.
Thanks, Serhat. The only other question right now is, will this webinar be recorded and provided? And the answer is yes. We're recording it now, and we will share that with you via email within the next few days. I don't see any other questions. If you have questions, please key them in. And in the meantime, Serhat, if you go to the next slide, I just wanted to point out that it's very easy to contact us. Most people know this, but I want to make sure everybody's aware that both in our product and on our website, if you have any questions, you can click the small dialogue, the chat dialogue on the bottom right. It's a little bubble. And if you click that, you'll be directly in contact with some of our customer success engineers, and they can help you with any integrations that you might have. So I encourage everyone to try if they own both products, and we're here to help you. Serhat, I don't see any other questions, so I think we can end the call.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.